Some motorcycles are seen as a form of transportation and nothing more. Some bikes are seen as pieces of art to be displayed at a bike show. Then there are some motorcycles whose sole reason of existence is to meet homologation requirements for a production racing team. This is one of those bikes. The BMW S1000RR, or double R, depending on whatever, they're both right, is pretty much everyone's dream bike. Or at least every motovlogger's dream bike.
So this is my dream bike. If you guys didn't already know that, you should know that.
So this is my dream bike. BMW S1000RR.
It is my dream bike if you guys didn't already know.
How do I motorcycle?
That's the power of this thing. And I'm not speaking literally either, we'll get to that in a sec. This is one of the most sought after and drooled over bikes there is. On top of that, the S1000 is such a trump card when it comes to talking about bikes that it's ridiculous. I've actually seen someone say this on an online forum. Unless you have an H2 or an S1000, you don't have any reason to talk trash. So here you go. Here's your permission slip to talk trash anywhere on the internet. Also, if you're one of those crazy people with no chicken strips on the rear tire of your S1000, be prepared to be accepted into every single bike club in town, because apparently that's rare.
And I'm not including the R1Ms and the BMW S1000s because I've never seen one without chicken strips that are this big.
The only thing anyone can really say about this bike unfavorably is the fact that it hasn't won any championships since it was created. Besides the only one that matters, the Isle of Man TT. Those conversations usually pan out like this anyway. BMW hasn't won anything. It's won at the Isle of Man. It's not the bike, it's the rider. Why the hell are you even... Anyway, enough talk. Time to get to the performance of this thing. 999cc inline 4 pumping out 193 stock horsepower and 82 foot-pounds of torque, going by 2011 model stats. This particular model has a full tailor-made exhaust system, which on paper bumps up the horsepower by 8, putting this bike theoretically at 201 horsepower at the crank. I say theoretically because it hasn't been dynoed yet. Don't have exact numbers. So how fast does that make this bike? Jesus, tap dancing, fuck, it's fast! Let me put it this way. Some of the fuel injectors in the engine don't even activate until you hit 10,000 RPM. At that point, you're hitting 80 miles per hour and you still have 4,000 revs to go. And you've done this all within a span of 5 seconds. Capable of a 0 to 60 time of 3 seconds, but with my ineptitude, this one has only been able to achieve 0 to 60 at 4 seconds. Even still, that's enough acceleration to enrage any dude bro who's behind the wheel of a Mustang. With all that power at your disposal, you've got to be able to have good brakes, right? Right. You so much as breathe on the brake lever with those Brembos and you've stopped. If you haven't already flown over the handlebars, that is. The only way to stop faster is to hit something, honestly. Handling. Not trying to be biased here, but I haven't ridden anything that handles better. When you have the tire pressures and suspension settings just right, the S1000RR is heavenly. I can honestly say that this bike feels like an extension of you more than any other bike that I've ridden. It's also the only sport bike that I can sit on for a long period of time and not have a problem with discomfort. It's the closest thing to a sport tour without actually having a sport tour. I would feel completely fine having a set of saddlebags on this thing and taking it on long distance trips. It's that comfortable. Looks. Now this is a hit or miss for some people. The face is, yeah, it's like that for a reason. I'm gonna let my buddy here explain why.
Now you see the architecture of these particular illuminatory devices for this specific Bavarian motorrad are designed to make the most efficient use of both the high beam and the low beam, which are on opposite sides of the motorrad, yeah? So you see this is purely functional.
Those who say this is ugly are completely entitled to their wrong opinion. This is by far the single best looking motorcycle out right now. But my symmetry! Fuck your symmetry! That's what I love about this bike, besides the, you know, batshit insane power. If you look at the S1000 from different angles, it's a different bike altogether. Gills on one side, a giant hole on the other. It just looks like one big shark wasp hybrid and it's angry. So angry. However, it isn't angry at you, the rider. It loves you. And it wants to keep you alive for as long as possible. ABS, traction control, wheelie control, this thing's got everything except cruise control, which is an option, but yeah, not on this one. All of those rider aids are varied off of which riding mode you choose, of which there are 3, when you first get the bike, that is. Rain mode restricts the horsepower down to 150, gives you the most manageable torque curve, and turns all rider aids all the way up. In this mode, you can't just crash. It won't let you. You would actually have to try. Sport mode bumps it up just a little bit. All 193 horses, but the torque curve is still toned down a tad. Nice to use in city traffic as you do have all the power, but the throttle response won't throw you into the car up ahead. Also, it gives you plenty of ABS and traction control, so if someone does do something dumb up ahead, you won't dump the bike trying to avoid it. Race mode. This is when it starts to get fun. Full power and a direct throttle. You want to kick the rear end out just a little bit while exiting a corner and shit yourself? This is the mode to be in. It's so fast. I have calluses on my hands just from how powerful the acceleration is. Now there is a fourth mode. You had to ask for this one. All you would have to do is ask the dealer, I want the chip. They would nod and head over to the parts counter. There they would ring up a little red chip to be installed underneath the seat. The slick chip. This little fucker unlocks the bike's hidden fourth riding mode, slick mode. This chip bypasses your bike's willingness to keep you alive and almost makes it turn against you. This mode is specifically designed only to be used on track with slick tires. All power, all torque, no riding aids. It's just you and the throttle, and holy dick! This turns your bike into a race bike. That's all that needs to be said. Can you daily an S1000RR? Yes. Yes, you can. Anyone who says no doesn't try hard enough. I worked at a motorcycle dealership from April to September, Tuesday through Saturday, and I took it pretty much every day. It's ridden through torrential rainstorms, frigid weather, and a record heat wave, averaging 1,000 miles a month. It can do it, and you can too. As the owner of this bike, I tried to be unbiased in this review, and that's very hard because this is the best bike I've ever ridden. The only other motorcycle that even comes close to this thing, in my opinion, is the Ducati Monster 1200R, and that's a standard bike. No sport bike comes close to the comfort, rideability, or performance that the BMW S1000RR has. But that is just my opinion. Take it as you will.